Every electric mobility story starts with the same question. What comes first? Is it the buses or is it the charging station? It is the e-mobility version of the chicken versus egg story. And so as we assemble buses at the Kenya Vehicle Manufacturers, we are also constructing the charging stations. Come with me as I take you behind the scenes of Kenya's fast charging depots.
Normally when a bus comes in, we talk to the drivers. They tell us about how the day was, if they incurred any problem. We inspect the buses for any faults and also report them to the relevant departments. We also ensure that the buses are cleaned and also charged so that they can be ready for operations for the next day. Normally a bus takes up to 2 hours to completely charge. And normally they terminate operations from 9 p.m. and they start streaming in from that time up to 12 a.m.
Approximately 90% of Kenya's electricity is generated from renewable sources, that is geothermal, hydropower, wind and solar. Between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m., there is a significant surplus of electricity, meaning much of the clean energy goes unused. That is why we charge at night, taking advantage of Kenya's e-mobility tariff and putting renewable power to work.
3 years ago, the energy regulator, EPRA, did gazette an e-mobility tariff. This was in recognition that they were seeing as e-mobility as being one of the new forms of energy to power mobility. So what the tariff did was an experimental tariff where the base tariff for off-peak, which starts at 10 o'clock in the night until 5 a.m., is 8 shillings, and the peak tariff, which is now from 5 a.m. all the way to 10 p.m. in the day, was 16 shillings. That's the base tariff before you put all the other costs and VAT and all that. So because majority of the charging is at night, then we benefit from that lower tariff. The only downside to the tariff was it had a cap of 15,000 kilowatts.
Every charging station had to be planned, designed and constructed from the ground up. We speak to the team behind this construction.
We first begin by strategically locating and identifying a charging station. Upon acquisition of a suitable site, we then move to engineering design of the specific charging station, whereby we come up with the electrical systems required. We also design for civil and structural facilities that will be used to make this facility operational. And once we have these designs in place and ready to go, we move to construction, whereby we work with stakeholders like contractors. We involve Kenya Power in the process and other key players. We then hand it over to our operations team, who then take it up from there and are now able to charge our buses.
A charging station normally has our source of power. This is from a Kenya Power transformer, and then we have an electrical distribution panel where the power comes in and it's distributed to individual chargers. Then we have the cabling that takes power from the distribution panel to the charger, and finally the charging equipment itself. In any particular depot, we will always look at how much power is available. With that power, we use it to determine the number of individual charging equipment we can place in a particular place.
So if you look at our stations, they are starting to be standard. What do I mean by this? Everything looks repeatable. So that's something we are trying to implement going forward at scale to ensure that everything that we are doing are repeatable and doesn't take much time to deploy. So the whole goal is to ensure that we shrink the amount of time required to deploy a charging station from the current 3 months to at least a month.
These new charging stations mark the next phase in Basigo's growing network of grid-connected EV infrastructure. With this expansion, Basigo continues to lead with the largest DC fast charging network for electric buses and the biggest electric fleet in service in East Africa.
Nothing beats the feeling of letting the world know we have charging station online. By that I mean after all the hard work, all the coordination, all the talks with Kenya Power, with our suppliers, with our contractors, finally we see chargers light up, we do a test charge and we say hooray, that's a job well done.